You're listening to Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick in association with Wexford Insurances. Challenge us at Wexford Insurances 0818 31 30 30.
My first guest this morning is Bettie Marie Burger Smit from Toastmasters. Wexford is playing host to the International Toastmasters Conference next week. Tell me a bit about Toastmasters, please, Bettie Marie.
Toastmasters, contrary to most those who do know and popular belief, is not stiff old men in long-tailed coats standing up and listening to the sound of their own voice. It's a phenomenal organisation, internationally acclaimed for encouraging public speaking. That's what people know it best for. Those who don't know, it also encourages leadership. It's a not-for-profit organisation, and basically it's just developing the individual and the person to the best of their abilities, albeit for their own personal needs or for business purposes or whatever they feel that Toastmasters can do them justice to.
And how long have you been involved in Toastmasters yourself, and how did that come about?
I've been involved in Toastmasters since 2005. I'd heard about it many years ago. I'm originally from South Africa. I'm sure the Wexford brogue was a dead giveaway. I originally went to my first meeting in South Africa, and I found it exactly what I said in the beginning: very pompous, very stiff, and very formal. So I gave up on it. And somebody in 2005, Marianne, invited me to join them at an Enniscorthy meeting, and I thought, oh well, I've got nothing better to do tonight. I'll go off with her and see what it's all about. And the rest, as they say, is history. Joined it then, and I've never looked back, and I've been with it for 7 years, and I will hopefully be completing my Distinguished Toastmaster by the end of June this year.
What benefit has Toastmasters brought yourself?
First of all, I and everybody that's in Toastmasters that has had to listen to speeches I've made, I almost single-handedly credit Toastmasters for any achievements I've had in Ireland. It gave me the confidence and the ability and the speaking ability and the communication ability to get my message across and to be able to engage with people and relay my passion, which is, as you know, is tourism and everything else that goes with it as well. But it's just given me that edge personally that I felt I could tackle life literally head on.
Tell me, how many groups are active in Wexford today, and how many people are involved across the county with Toastmasters?
In Toastmasters, the mother club, for the lack of a better word, is the club in Enniscorthy, and that's been going for, I think, almost 20 years. And about 6 years ago, that evolved into the Gory Club. Once a club gets beyond a certain size, because it's all about team and encouragement and getting everybody to get an opportunity to engage, Gory Club was started. And then 3 years ago, Wexford Club was started in Wexford Town. So we've got 3 clubs with about 110 members across the 3 clubs.
How does each meeting work?
It's very structured in the sense that it's a 2-hour meeting. It starts at 8 sharp, and the emphasis is on sharp. Everything in Toastmasters is about timing. And it would finish at 10. And you will have we have a president appointed every year. This year it's Eamon Campion in Wexford, and they will do a welcome, and then you have the Toastmaster, which would basically be like a chairperson for the night. So everybody takes on a role. The meeting is well timed. You'd have about 4 speeches on average. Each speech would be evaluated by one of the fellow members. And then there's a topic session at the end of the evening, which is quite lively and which is really to hone people's skills in ad hoc delivery, just to get up and say a couple of words.
From a guest perspective, if, for instance, I was to go along as a guest to the next meeting that takes place in Wexford, what's expected of me?
You just have to pitch up, really. Write your name down as a guest. Guaranteed, it's part of what the Toastmaster mantra is about. You will be welcomed. It's not like normal, sometimes you go to networking events or things and you feel, well, I want to go, but I really don't know anybody. It's part of what Toastmasters is about. It has to be welcoming. It has to be, encouraging, and it has to be a very positive experience for guests.
From a business perspective, lots of our listeners this morning will be wondering where the benefit for business people from Toastmasters. And I suppose I personally would have always assumed that most of the members of Toastmasters would have been business people themselves looking to develop their own public speaking skills. Would that assumption have been correct?
It depends very much on the club and the area that the club is formed. In Wexford Town, and we have about 60-40 business orientated. And when I say business, people that are in not just corporate business, but in all levels of even the public service, it's a great benefit to them. But it's a very diverse group of people, and the business benefits for me personally. I mean, I just can never say enough about this. It's timing is everything. It's the value that you learn how to chair a meeting. I've been at so many meetings where they could go on for hours because the person chairing the meeting doesn't know that it's okay to get your point across and let's get on with it, and that there should be a time. It's listening. We're great with public speaking, but it's because you do have to do evaluations. It's very good for conflict resolution. It's not easy. It's very easy to maybe do a speech, but to go and stand up and actually evaluate somebody's speech in a positive, supportive manner is a skill that you also learn at Toastmasters, which I've seen evolve in my own leadership and management skills over the years, that I can very comfortably deal with timing, with meetings, but also be able to listen to staff members, hear what they have to say, and come up with a better solution.
I know that surveys have showed that people fear public speaking more than death. Can you understand why?
I personally can't, because this is the irony. Those who do know me knows that I've got no problem with speaking. But it is to hone my speaking skills, to keep it in a succinct point. Yet I have been at Toastmasters meetings, and this is why I thoroughly still enjoy going to Toastmasters meetings, is to see people develop. I know a couple of years ago we had somebody that had a severe stuttering problem, but yet they had a very good job, and they needed to grow in that job, and that was their fear. After 10 stages of Toastmasters, they got very comfortable where they stuttered. They stuttered didn't disappear, but they were very comfortable in getting their message across. Even socially, sometimes people are so focused on business that they might not have the networking and the social skills to transfer outside of their comfort zone. So even from that, I think it's a great benefit to people to engage, just to become a whole, well-rounded individual in business and in the corporate world.
What tips would you offer to business people out there today that are looking to improve their own public speaking?
There's a lot of people that do a lot of public speaking without actually ever listening to themselves. I've just recently been to an IHF conference, and there was one speaker in particular that I was in Toastmasters mode because he was actually that bad. Yet you could see by his delivery he was quite comfortable and had developed years worth of bad habits, that he was quite comfortable in his delivery and verging on actually a bit boring. So I think people need to be very aware that they're not probably as good as they think they are. PowerPoint, death by PowerPoint, let's not even go there. We could maybe elaborate on that a little bit. But a good delivery is a good speech, is an engaging speech. It's being comfortable to pause. It's being comfortable to breathe. It's being comfortable making eye contact. It's all these things that people think they do, but they might not do. When you go to Toastmasters meeting, because you get evaluated, all your faults that you make, even if you've been doing it for years, might be pointed out to you, and you might just become a better presenter.
I know that the International Toastmasters Conference is going to see 300 guests arrive in Wexford next week from both Ireland and the UK. Just a quick question in relation to the difference between Irish and UK speakers. What is it?
It's vast. It was one of my first introductions to my first conference about 5 years ago in Killarney. English speakers are very precise, and they're very rehearsed. It's almost like a 5 to 7 minute performance, an act, very well tuned and, as you would, very well manicured, for the lack of a better word. Like that, Irish speakers could be from the best corporate background, but there is just a little bit of that laid backness about an Irish delivery that very often makes it, in my case, maybe I'm a little bit biased, a little bit more engaging than the English ones, but it is so diverse. It's actually fascinating to see how people in each area, how their speaking skills develop.
Tell me about this International Toastmasters Conference that we're going to see coming to Wexford next week for the first time.
The international organisation is broken up into districts, and Ireland and the UK forms District 71 within that organisation. This is the annual conference where 9 of the best speakers in UK and Ireland compete against each other. And that's the highlight of the contest. Compete against each other, of which the winner goes to the States to go and compete to become the best speaker of the year in the world, out of 250,000 people. So it's quite a big achievement for us. I went to a conference 5 years ago in Killarney, and I found it singularly unique because I had never had an experience where people from the UK and Ireland got together, and have been doing it for 35 years, long before there was anything else. And it was just such a wonderful experience that I wanted to then bring it to Wexford, and Ireland has been very good to me, so it was, and especially Wexford. So I just really wanted to give a little bit back to Toastmasters. I can never show enough gratitude for what it's done. So myself and a very wonderful team of 4 people, we have put the conference together, and we are very delighted to host them in Wexford, which is pretty wow.
Apart from the speaking contests, what else is going to take place over the 3-day event?
Well, there's the guest speaker this year his name is Mark Hunter. He's from Australia. He won the speech championships in 2009. He is absolutely phenomenal. He is a pure inspiration. He had a skiing accident in 1975. He's just been absolutely inspirational in what he's achieved with a disability in Australia, and especially in speaking skills. And that's what he does now. He was one of the first principals. He was the first disabled principal in the whole of Australia. And he used Toastmasters like that to not only get over his disability, but to motivate people and evolve from there, and has been a member for many years. We also have workshops which will deal with things like how to evaluate. In other words, let's say you're in a meeting and you've listened to somebody and you want to give them an idea of what they've said, but you want to do it in 30 seconds. This is the workshop that will teach you how to do that.
I would like to take this opportunity to wish you the very best of luck with the event, and thank you for coming in and joining me this morning.
You're listening to Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick in association with Wexford Insurances. Think Wexford Insurances for your business insurance.